Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the free legal advice show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host Ilyas Bulbulia and I'll be with you for the next hour. As our regular viewers are aware, the free legal advice show provides you, our viewers, the opportunity to call in and ask me any questions that you have on any aspect of English law. On this show, I'm able to cover a vast, diverse range of matters ranging from immigration law matters, family law matters, criminal law matters. So whatever your legal questions are, please do feel free to get in touch. Now, we get numerous questions on immigration law, which is fantastic. Please do continue to send your questions in. But even if your matter relates to another legal issue, could be a criminal matter, family law matter, whatever it is, please do get in touch. Two ways to get in touch. You can ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. Alternatively, a very popular way of getting in touch is to send us a message on that mobile number which also appears at the bottom of the screen. So the landline number for live calls and the mobile number which is there for messages, text messages, WhatsApp messages. We get numerous messages, which is fantastic. Please do continue to send your messages in. A couple of very minor matters before we get going. It's a live show, so sometimes it's not possible to deal with very complex matters. Or if it transpires that I need to see your documents before I can advise you further, then I'll ask you to leave your number with the control room and then we can have that more thorough discussion off air. If it's a complex matter, we can discuss it more thoroughly. If it's a case that I need to look at your documents, then I'll be able to look at your documents and then we can have that discussion off air. So please do get in touch on those two methods I have outlined before. Landline number for live calls and the mobile number for messages. Now, even before we've come on the show today, we've had a number of messages coming in. So let's start going through the messages, the questions, the queries that have come in already. As always, you can always pick up the phone and give us a ring as well. Okay, now, as I've come in and I've started going through the questions that we've received today, I've noted that immigration law is always as popular as always. And one of the first questions that's come in relates to immigration law as well. Short question. Our viewer asks, Assalamu alaikum. I went to settle my son in the UK with his family. Can he apply for a work permit for them both to work in the United Kingdom? Now, quite a general question. In principle, yes, assuming the requirements can be met, somebody can apply for a work permit, or as is now known, a skilled worker visa to come to the United Kingdom. Now, question really is, what are the requirements that need to be fulfilled before somebody can come to the United Kingdom on a work permit? Now, the starting point is this, that you can't just apply to come to the United Kingdom to look for a job. You can't just apply for a job and come to the United Kingdom if your application is successful. It's not that easy. There is a process. There is a number of requirements which need to be fulfilled before somebody is able to come to the United Kingdom on a skilled worker visa. Now, the starting point for that is that the business that you're coming to work for must have a sponsor license. So if they've got a sponsor license, then potentially they are able to sponsor people from abroad to come to the United to work on this work permit skilled worker visa. So the starting point is it's only those businesses which are licensed to employ migrants, those who have a sponsor license, who are able to sponsor people to come to the United Kingdom to work. So it's not open to everybody. It's limited to the businesses which have a license. Now, in practice, a lot of businesses are applying for sponsor licenses. So the opportunities to come to the United Kingdom to work is definitely increasing. Now, let's say the business in the United Kingdom has a sponsor license. Then potentially they are able to sponsor you to come to the United Kingdom to work for them. But again, there are certain requirements that need to be fulfilled. Now, in practice, what I advise clients is as follows. That first of all, whoever wants to come to the United Kingdom to work will need to have a reasonably good command of English. And that does cause a problem for many people who want to come to the United Kingdom to work. They would have to pass an IELTS test. The band is band 4, and your ability to speak English, your speaking, listening, reading, writing ability are tested. So it's not just a speaking and listening test, they look at reading and writing as well. And your English has to be at that level, IELTS band 4. Now, that is somebody who has a reasonably good command of English. It's not basic and it's not fluent either. It's somewhere in the middle. So they're able to hold a reasonably okay conversation. Now, that's one of the requirements that would need to be fulfilled if you want to come to the United Kingdom on a work permit, on the skilled worker visa. If you can't pass the IELTS test, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to come to the United Kingdom on a work permit, on that skilled worker visa. So that's the first thing, English. The second is the job in the United Kingdom has to be at a particular skill level. So we're not talking about doctors and accountants and engineers anymore. The skill level has been brought down, but it's still semi-skilled work. So manager in a petrol station, a manager in a factory. So it's that kind of level. So it's not professional level anymore. It still has to be a semi-skilled type of job. So English is a requirement. The job has to be right. And the salary, generally speaking, has to be around £26,000 a year, just under £26,000 a year. Now, there are some exceptions to that. But these are the sort of main requirements which need to be fulfilled if you want to come to the United Kingdom on a work permit. Now, right, the next question that has come in relates to nationality. I was just looking at this just before we went on our break. Now, and I know there are certain further information that I need to provide on the work permit query that we had before as well. So let's just look at this question that's just come in on nationality. Assalamu alaikum. I wish to apply for British nationality. I don't have the translation of my marriage certificate. Is this necessary when I apply for British nationality? Now, okay, fairly straightforward question. When you apply for nationality, obviously there are certain documents that need to be submitted. The question we're being asked, specific question, is a translated copy, translated version of one's marriage certificate necessary when we apply for nationality? Now, the answer to that question really depends on your circumstances. Now, if you obtained indefinite leave to remain more than 1 year ago, then it's not necessary for you to put your marriage certificate in at all, because your application for nationality will simply be based on your own circumstances. You will qualify for nationality under your own circumstances. So the marriage certificate, the translation of the marriage certificate is not necessary. However, if you have just recently obtained nationality, so it's very unusual that in spouse cases, people obtain indefinite leave to remain and then they go for nationality straight away after that. So if you've very recently obtained indefinite leave to remain and now you're going for nationality very quickly after that, then the likelihood is that you will need a copy of your marriage certificate. Now, the reason for that is this, that if you want to apply within 1 year of obtaining indefinite leave to remain for nationality, so you don't want to wait a year, you want to apply within 1 year, then you can only apply for nationality within that year if you're married to a British national. So obviously you have to prove that you are married to a British national. So how do you prove that? Well, there's two things. One is you've got to prove that the person who you're relying on is British, your husband is British, simply requires a copy of his or her passport to prove their nationality. But then you've got to prove that you're legally married to that person. And the way that has to be done is by showing a valid marriage certificate. And that's why the question arises, do you need to submit your marriage certificate, the translation of your marriage certificate? Yes, if you're applying within 1 year of your indefinite leave to remain, because you're only allowed to apply for nationality at that stage if you're married to a British citizen. So obviously you have to prove that you're married to a British citizen, and therefore what's the proof? It's your marriage certificate. And obviously you can't submit a certificate which is not in English. If you're going to do that, there has to be a translation of that. So we don't have enough information in relation to your own circumstances, but in answer to your question, it's really a question of when did you get indefinite leave to remain. If you got it more than a year ago, it's not necessary to get that marriage certificate translated. If you obtained indefinite leave to remain, and it's not been 1 year since you obtained indefinite leave to remain, then I would advise you to get that marriage certificate translated as well. So in a nutshell, that's what the position is. But thank you very much for that question. It is something that actually does come up quite regularly in practice as well, as to when people can apply for British nationality. Right. The next question that's come in, again, it's an immigration law question. And what we've been asked is, my parents have pre-settled status in the United Kingdom, EU pre-settled status in the United Kingdom. When would they be able to apply for settled status in the United Kingdom? What documents will they need? Okay. Now, we are taking a short break. We should be back in the next couple of minutes. See you then. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Free Legal Advice Show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host, Ilyas Bulbulia. Now, to speak to me live on air, please ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. And as always, a very popular way of getting in touch is to send us a message on that mobile number, which is also there at the bottom of the screen. So landline number for live calls. Now, we've had a number of questions coming in on that mobile number, which is fantastic. Please do continue to send your questions in. Pre-settled status granted to EU citizens, their family members, previously to extended family members as well. Now, initially, the status which is granted is that of pre-settled status. And the general requirement, and the situation is slightly different for children, but the general position is that you have to have had, you have to have lived in the United Kingdom for 5 years before you can apply for settled status in the United Kingdom. So it's really a residence requirement that, generally speaking, you need to fulfill. There's an exception for children, which I'll come on to in a bit. But as far as your parents are concerned, as far as spouses are concerned, the position is fairly straightforward. If you've got pre-settled status, that's all well and good. Once you've lived in the United Kingdom for 5 years, you would be eligible to apply for settled status, indefinite leave to remain. Now, when you do that, what will you be asked to provide? You will be asked to provide potentially proof of residence in the United Kingdom. So that's the main thing that you're going to be asked to provide, proof of residence in the United Kingdom. Now, proof of residence is simply documentary evidence that you've received at your home address. So it's letters, bills, bank statements, etc. Official documentation that you've received at your home address now. So you should, in terms of what will be required, you should continue collecting these documents. So if after 5 years, you do need to prove that you've been living in the United Kingdom for 5 years, you can provide a copy of all your bills and bank statements, etc., which will prove your continuous residence in the United Kingdom. Now, if you've been working in the United Kingdom, then it will be more straightforward in the sense that the Home Office will be able to check your records with HMRC, and that will flag up that you have been paying taxes, you've been making national insurance contributions, so you must have been working and therefore living in the United Kingdom. So that would work as well. If you've been working in the United Kingdom, your record with HMRC would be sufficient to establish that you've been living in the United Kingdom. Now, if it's the case that you've not been working, then certainly what you would need is some proof, some documentary evidence that you've been living here. So that would be letters, bills, bank statements, etc., council tax bills, etc. That would prove your residence in the United Kingdom. Now, the time-wise, it's going to be after they've lived in the United Kingdom for 5 years. And documentary evidence is bills and letters. But thank you very much for your call. Let's go to our next caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Ji, walaikum salam.
Brother, I've spoken to you before a few months back with regards to my mother-in-law. I'll just go over it very quickly. This is the case that we applied the visitor visa for my mother-in-law back in October 2020, so it's coming to 2 years. The case was only passed to Home Office last year in June, and we've not heard anything since. So earlier this year, I sent an email to their email address to the Home Office. They said they escalated the case. Didn't hear anything, so that's roughly the time when I spoke to you,
Sure.
And you advised that maybe we should go down the route of, getting the local MP involved. I talked to the local MP again end of May, early June.
Okay.
They send a letter to Home Office. They've still not received any reply. I've chased my MP. I have tried to call them. So basically, I've not got anywhere, and we still don't know what status the case is. Now, it's coming to a point where we're thinking of withdrawing the case. Is that going to be a good idea if we make a fresh case, or that's not a good idea and we should just wait until we do hear something about the first case?
So, I mean, sometimes some cases do take a long time, but this is just ridiculous to say, okay, over a year, 2 years have passed and you've heard nothing. The only options you've now got is to submit a complaint. I don't know whether you've done that at all or not.
So you're saying we submit a complaint, and how do we do that? Is that again on the website?
Yeah, it's again on the Home Office website. That if you go into even if you Google UKVI complaint or Home Office complaint, the complaints page will come up. So one other option you've got is to submit a complaint. The only other option you've got is you go back to your MP and say, why haven't I received a reply? It's very unusual for an MP not to have received a reply as well. I'm surprised. Have you been back to your MP? Have you gone back to your MP and asked your MP what's going on?
And is there an option of cancelling the case and asking for a refund of the fees? Is that not possible?
Yeah, you can cancel the application. They won't refund the fee because the fingerprints have been done. They won't refund the fee, but you can cancel the application as well and then resubmit it. And I'm thinking maybe that may well be the best way to do it. You will still have to contact the Home Office to tell them that you want the application cancelled.
Okay, I think that's. Thank you for your advice. I'll try that and
I
see
think
if I get
that's
any.
fine. Cancellation and reapplication, I think.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you very much. Jazakallah, thank you for your call. Very unfortunate with the length of delay. In practice, you do still come across cases, certainly visit visas, that for some reason have got lost in the system and they're taking an extremely long time for decisions to be made. And unfortunately, options are limited. And I've spoken to our brother before in terms of what can be done. Um, you write to them, you email them, complete the online form, you raise it with an MP, you put a complaint in. Realistically, other than that, your hands are tied and you're in the hands of the Home Office and at their mercy. Hopefully, withdrawal and submitting a new application should work. The next question is in relation to healthcare visas and work permits. A lot of questions being raised in practice. So let's have a look at that. Assalamu alaikum. We've heard that a lot of people are getting care worker visas. Please, can you explain how that works and how easy is it to get a healthcare worker visa? Now, this is something that's coming up quite regularly in practice. People coming to the United Kingdom or applying to come to the United Kingdom as a healthcare worker. Now, it is possible to come to the United Kingdom as a healthcare worker. And the reason it's possible is because the Home Office amended the rules in the beginning of this year. Because there was a shortage of healthcare workers, they've amended the rules to make it easier for people to come to the United Kingdom to work as healthcare assistants. So in order to plug the gap, people are able to come to the United Kingdom as healthcare workers. However, as I discussed initially, there is certain requirements which need to be fulfilled. If you're coming to the United Kingdom as a healthcare assistant, you would normally be sponsored by a care home or somebody who provides home care. So somebody, an agency which sends care workers to patients' home address, and the care is provided in the patient's home. So it's either a care home that has a sponsor license and wants to sponsor somebody, or it's the carers who go to people's houses and provide care in their own home. So it's normally those two types of organizations, healthcare organizations, which apply for a sponsor license. Now, obviously, we've always had the NHS that's been able to recruit certain individuals from abroad. So this is much broader. This is the private sector which provides care to individuals. They are able to apply for a sponsor license and sponsor people to come to the United Kingdom as carers. So it's not possible for somebody simply to apply on their own and come to work in the United Kingdom as a carer or look for a job as a carer. They have to be sponsored by these organizations. So it's a question of applying for a job, getting a job with an organization which has a sponsor license. Now, if you manage to get a care home or an organization that provides home care to sponsor you, then potentially, yes, you can come to the United Kingdom to work. They will provide you with a certificate of sponsorship, and you'll be able to use the certificate of sponsorship to apply for a visa. Now, again, this is something that I discussed at the beginning of the show. There is an English language requirement, so you will need to pass the English test, and normally it's the IELTS test at band 4 in speaking, listening, reading, writing. So you're going to have to pass that test in order to come to the United Kingdom. Apart from that, you'll have the certificate of sponsorship, which is confirmation that the employer is sponsoring you to come to the United Kingdom. Now, so that's the way it works. The visas are open. There is a minimum salary that they need to pay you. It's in the region of about £21,000. That takes us to our next break. Inshallah, we should be back in the next couple of minutes. See you then. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Free Legal Advice Show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host, Ilyas Bulbulia. To speak to me live on air, please ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. Alternatively, to send us a message, a WhatsApp message, you can do that by getting in touch on the mobile number which is also there at the bottom of the screen. So messages, texts and WhatsApp messages on the mobile number. And we have numerous messages coming in, which is fantastic. Landline number for live calls and the mobile number for messages as well. Slightly less than the normal going rate of 25,600. So they can pay you a slightly lower salary. Minimum it's around £10 an hour. But if you work it all out, the healthcare organization that's sponsoring you can sponsor you with a slightly lower salary. So that's what you need in order to come to the United Kingdom. You can potentially be sponsored to come for 3 years. You can be sponsored to come for 5 years. So it depends on how long the organization is willing to sponsor you for. It could be 3 years, it could be 5 years. Now, if you just get a 3-year sponsorship, then you'll get a 3-year visa. And after that, you're going to have to extend it so that after a total of 5 years in the United Kingdom, you will qualify for indefinite leave to remain. If you get the full 5-year one, you'll get a 5-year visa. And at the end of that, you will qualify for indefinite leave to remain. So these visas do exist. And the reason behind these visas is that there is a shortage apparently with healthcare assistants, and that gap is being plugged by mainly migrants who might be here already. They might be on a student visa, etc., or they might be abroad and they've been sponsored to come to the United Kingdom. So a lot of visas are being issued under that category at the moment. And in practice, a lot of questions, a lot of queries are being raised in relation to the sponsor license scheme, work permits, etc. So thank you very much for that question. Interesting question. Now, the next question that's come in, immigration law question, slightly different, to do with spouse applications. And our viewer asks, Assalamu alaikum. I am applying to sponsor my wife to come to the United Kingdom. In the last 6 months, one of my wage slips has quite a low salary. Can I rely on that, or will that affect my application? Okay. Again, spouse applications is quite a popular topic. It's quite a long answer to this. We do have a caller. Let me go to our next caller, then I'll come back to this question. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Hi, I can hear you.
You okay?
Yeah, not bad. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. I just wanted a bit of advice for an auntie.
Okay.
I can't quite hear you. The volume is quite low.
Okay. I think if you're near the TV, if you just move away from the TV, you might be able to hear more clearly.
Sorry?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
It's okay. It's not the best.
Okay. All right. I can hear you. So if you...
Okay. So basically my auntie, she suffers from arthritis and she's got slipped discs.
Okay.
And unfortunately, this has been going on a long time illness, and she's got other conditions as well, medical conditions.
Okay.
One of the days she went to the hospital, and there was a doctor there that was going to check her. And what he did, he put his hand on top of her head and pressed it quite firmly.
Okay.
And unfortunately, all her body was shaken.
Okay.
And actually, it really damaged her disc. And there's obviously some gaps now when he put the pressure on.
Okay.
Obviously, at that time, she did say to him, stop, because you're hurting me.
Okay.
And he's like, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm just checking. When she came home, she was quite bad. She just wanted to know a bit of advice that what can she do legally?
Okay.
Does she stand on any legs that she can fight this case, and what advice you can give? They went back to the hospital and spoke to them that she was in a lot of pain.
Okay.
And they go, basically, the pressure that he put on the head, it has caused a splintered, I think it must be the back that splintered. Obviously, I don't know medically what words were used.
Okay.
Splintered the back. And also she's got the gaps now have like widened.
Okay.
In her back or neck where the gaps are.
Okay.
And now when they spoke to the doctors, another doctor, she asked them that, are you able to write on the record that because he put pressure on the head, this has caused me a lot more damage?
Sure.
Because they done scans and stuff, and obviously it showed that. And the doctor goes, we can't write that now for you. Obviously, I don't know why they couldn't write it for them on the documentation. They just go, we can't do that. But doing the x-ray, there's more damage after you're saying that the doctor had put pressure on her. And also the doctor goes that it's like, basically, you know, when you have a car crash, you had a whiplash. She goes, that's happened to her again by him putting pressure on.
Sure.
And now she's on benefits. She's just asking, do they stand on a leg where they can fight and take this case further?
Okay. When did this happen?
This happened 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so it's quite recent. Okay.
Yep.
Couple of things. One is you can complain to the hospital about what's happened.
Yep.
Okay. You can raise the complaint yourself, so you can complain. Secondly, you can go and see another doctor, maybe privately, to get an opinion from the doctor about what's happened.
Yeah.
Thirdly, and this is what I would advise you to do, is contact a firm of solicitors that specialize in clinical negligence cases. It's quite.
All this information that you've told me, because the line's not quite clear.
Yeah.
Have you been doing it on air? So
Yeah, I'll do that.
Hear as well.
I'll do that. Yeah. So
if you can do it on air and clearly tell them as well. So I know one is complaint. They've done the complaint policy where they've written to them.
Okay.
And the second option was what? What was the second option?
You could get advice from another doctor, instructing privately to make an assessment. Okay. You could do that, and you could explain to that doctor what's happened. They might do some tests and tell you what they think. Independent doctor. Okay. Thirdly, and this is important, you need to speak to a firm of solicitors that specialize in clinical negligence. It's quite specialized.
How much cost are you looking for that? Because
they
she's
might
on benefits.
So clinical negligence, these firms might be willing to take it on a like a no-win, no-fee basis, or they might charge you a small amount for the initial investigation of the case. But you need to speak to a firm that specializes in clinical negligence. It's not your normal high street firm.
Air as well. What I'll do, she's listening to the program. She obviously doesn't know English, so she's told me to phone for her on behalf of her. So if you can put that on air as well, she can listen and her husband can listen.
Okay.
So what I'll do, in half an hour, I'll just phone her back and tell her what I've heard, what you've said, and hopefully she could hear online as well.
Okay,
on
no
air.
problem. No problem.
Do that for me.
I'll do that now.
Thank you
Okay, thank you very much for your call.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Now, because our caller is saying that the line wasn't very good, let me just run through the advice that I gave, that potentially, if something like this has happened, you can put a complaint in to the Home Office. The Home Office will send you a written reply. So at least you can see from that reply what the hospital's position is. Do they accept this happened or not? Secondly, you can go and see an independent doctor and get an opinion from that doctor. Look, this is what happened. Is it possible that, yes, that's caused further injury? Can you tell what further injury has been caused? You could get another opinion. That may help you assess whether it's worth going forward or not. Thirdly, very important, that you speak to a specialist law firm that deals with clinical negligence. Now, you've got 3 years to bring a claim, so you have a bit of time. You might want to do your complaint. You might want to speak to an independent doctor, get a feel for whether this will go anywhere or not, and then speak to a firm that specializes in clinical negligence. So they probably won't be high street firms that do personal injury work. This is not personal injury type claim. It's a specialist claim, clinical negligence, and it has to be a firm that specializes in clinical negligence. There are mainly in the bigger cities specialist firms that deal with this. So that's what I would do. Complaint, see another doctor, see a specialist clinical negligence law firm. Hope that helps. So just before I took that call, I was answering a question about spouse application. A viewer had texted in. The question about the spouse application was to do with wage slips when you're sponsoring your partner to come to the United Kingdom. The question was for the wage slips that I submit, if in one of the months the salary is quite low, will it have an impact on the application? So will it result in a refusal? I think that's what our caller was trying to get at. Now, for spouse applications, in terms of the financial requirement, when you have salary pay slips and you're submitting 6 months of pay slips, you do need to look at your pay slips quite carefully. If there are months when your pay slips are quite low, it could be problematic. So what you need to look at is this. If you are an hourly paid employee, and this should be quite apparent from the salary slips that you get. So if your wages are, you've worked 40 hours, your hourly rate is £10.50 and it's worked out at 450, that's hourly paid. That's easier, and you can work out the average over 6 months if that's what you're earning. If you're salaried employment, it's different. I'll answer that in greater detail after we've taken our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Assalaam.
Ji, brother, thank you for calling. Brother, you're live on air.
जी ओके वालेकुम। मुझे पूछना था कि मैंने डाइवोर्स के लिए अप्लाई किया था।
जी जी भाई जी, आपने डिवोर्स के लिए अप्लाई किया?
जी मैं डिवोर्स के लिए अप्लाई किया था और मेरी कोर्ट से फाइल वापसी आ गई
जी,
और उन्होंने कहा ओरिजिनल सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए
जी
और निकाहनामा
जी। जी, सो आपने ऑनलाइन अप्लाई किया या पेपर फॉर्म भेजा था? Taking a short break. We'll be back in the next couple of minutes. See you then. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the free legal advice show on British Muslim TV. To speak to me live on air, please ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. As always, to send us a message, WhatsApp message or text message, you can do that on the landline, on the mobile number. Sorry, landline number for calls, mobile number for messages. So please do continue to send your messages in. Right.
मेरे से ऑनलाइन अप्लाई किया था।
ओके, ठीक है।
और वो मैंने कोर्ट की फीस भी भरी थी मैंने
जी।
तो वापसी आ गई, वो निकाहनामा मेरा गुम हो गया है।
ओके, तो आपको ओरिजिनल मिल सकेगा या
ओरिजिनल नहीं मिल सकता, इसलिए कि वो 30 साल पहले मैंने पाकिस्तान में शादी की थी और वो गुम हो गया है, मिसप्लेस हो गया है। तो फोटो कॉपी मेरे पास है
जी,
और फोटो कॉपी वो कोर्ट वाले एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहे
जी,
और ओरिजिनल भी नहीं मिल रहा
जी।
तो आप मुझे बता सकते हैं क्या क्या कर सकता हूँ मैं?
असल में यह है ना, थोड़ा सा अभी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हुआ क्योंकि आपको कोर्ट में अप्लाई करना पड़ता है, एप्लीकेशन डालना पड़ता है कि आपके पास ओरिजिनल मैरिज सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है। तब भी आपको ये डिवोर्स केस के साथ परमिशन मिलना चाहिए आगे जाने के लिए। सो जज इस पे फैसला करेगा कि केस आपका आगे जा सकता है या नहीं। तो इसमें वो पूछेंगे कि आपने क्या कोशिश की ओरिजिनल रजिस्ट्री ऑफिस से दोबारा मंगवाने की, वहाँ से मिल सकती है या नहीं। और सो इसके लिए आपको अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, एप्लीकेशन डालना पड़ता है कि मैं आगे जाना चाहता हूँ और ये प्रॉब्लम है मेरी मैरिज सर्टिफिकेट के साथ। तो जज ये सारा देख के कहेगा मोस्ट लाइकली कि ठीक है, ओके, आपके पास ओरिजिनल नहीं है मगर आपका केस आगे जा सकता है। तो वो जज वो एप्लीकेशन को देखेगा। तो बेस्ट है ना आपके लिए, ये थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड अभी हो गया, बेस्ट है कि आप सॉलिसिटर जो फैमिली लॉयर है उसके थ्रू अभी ये केस आगे चलाए।
तो वो क्या नाम, तो मैं अपने सोलिसिटर जो है उसको मैं कैसे उसको समझाऊं, इसलिए उसको मैंने बताया 2-3 दफा मैंने कि भाई वो कोर्ट से भी वापसी आ गई और वो उन्होंने ओरिजिनल सर्टिफिकेट मांगा था, तो मैंने फोटो कॉपी निकाला, मैं फोटो कॉपी और क्या नाम है उसका पाकिस्तान से जो मैंने मंगवाया था नादा का, उस नादा में मिस्टेक क्या हुई है कि वो नाम मेरे नाम के साथ, मेरा वाइफ का नाम मेरे नाम के साथ आ गया, वरना वाइफ का नाम के साथ फादर का नाम आना चाहिए, पर वो भी इन्होंने रिजेक्ट कर दिया।
तो आप लॉयर के थ्रू जा रहे हैं या खुद कर रहे हैं?
मैंने लॉयर के साथ गया था मैं भी, और वही बोलता स्टिल वेटिंग आंसर।
ओके, तो ये कोई स्पेशलिस्ट है फैमिली लॉयर का कि नहीं है?
कहते हैं वो लॉयर है, तो लॉयर ही।
ओके,
पर वो बोलता है मैंने ईमेल किया, कोई जवाब नहीं आया, तो मेरे को 6 महीने तो हो गए, स्टिल वेटिंग कर रहा हूँ मैं।
मे बी आपके लिए बेस्ट किया है, आई डोंट नो कि ये लॉयर स्पेशलिस्ट है कि नहीं। ये कोई स्पेशलिस्ट एक्सपीरियंस्ड फैमिली लॉयर के पास जाएंगे ना तो वो सॉर्ट आउट कर सकेंगे। ये तो हमारे पास भी केसेस होते हैं, मैं फैमिली लॉयर का स्पेशलिस्ट नहीं हूँ मगर बेसिक केसेस हम चला लेते हैं, मैं इमिग्रेशन लॉयर हूँ मेनली। मगर जब केसेस कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होते हैं तो हम रिफ़र कर देते हैं स्पेशलिस्ट एक्सपीरियंस बंदे के पास, जो उसका एक्सपीरियंस है, उसको पता होता है कि ये कैसे ये सॉर्ट आउट करना है। समटाइम्स प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है कि जिस लॉयर के पास आप गए हैं अगर इतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है तो वो कॉम्प्लिकेटेड केस को वो सॉल्व नहीं कर सकेगा, इतनी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं होगा।
मैं अपने आप को मैं मूव ऑन करना चाहता हूँ, मैं दूसरी शादी करना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि मेरी उम्र भी 54 हो गई है, तो मैं आई नीड पार्टनर। कोई समझ नहीं आ रही क्या करूँ मैं।
नहीं, आप ये करो कि लुक, अगर आपको लगता है कि ये बंदा स्पेशलिस्ट नहीं है तो कोई स्पेशलिस्ट फर्म के पास जाओ। आप आपके एरिया में पूछो कि ये फैमिली लॉ का स्पेशलिस्ट कौन है और उसके पास जाओ। मुझको इतना पता नहीं है, मुझको लगता है कि ये बंदा शायद इतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं होगा इसमें, इसलिए उसको भी इतना आइडिया नहीं है कि कैसे करना है। जो स्पेशलिस्ट होगा, एक्सपीरियंस्ड होगा, उसको पता होगा कि कैसे आगे चलाना है। कोर्ट में आपके
इसलिए मुझे 2 साल हो गए हैं इस चक्कर में फंसा पड़ा हूँ, और अभी 6 महीने हो गए वो बार बार वही कह रहा है वेट करो, पर टाइम वेस्ट हो रहा है मेरा।
तो इतना टाइम तो नहीं लगना चाहिए ना, इतना टाइम तो नहीं लगता है। आई थिंक लोग, अगर ये बंदे के पास इतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, अगर उसको पता नहीं है कि कब कोर्ट में जा सकते हैं दोबारा जज के पास, तो आप किसी और लॉयर के पास जाओ।
ठीक है,
दैट्स द बेस्ट थिंग, स्पेशलिस्ट एक्सपीरियंस लॉयर।
आपसे मुझे बात करके मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा सच।
जज़ाकल्लाह, थैंक यू वेरी मच, जज़ाकल्लाह, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। But thank you very much for that call. Now, just before the break, we had a question that I was dealing with, or just before the call, about spouse applications and salary slips. And what I was advising was that if you're making a spouse application, sponsoring, your partner come to the United Kingdom, and the issue with your pay slips is that your salary might have dipped in a particular month. If you're an hourly paid employee, then it's not a problem because you simply work out the average over 6 months. And as long as that gets to 9,300, you're okay. The problem is when it's salaried employment, then you can't do that. Okay, let's take our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah, I've got a question for the solicitor.
Okay, brother, you're live on air, so fire away.
I'm live on air right now.
You're live, yeah. You've been put through to me, so if you tell me what your question is.
Okay. Basically, what it is, my visa ran out 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Okay.
And I've just gone and done the life in the UK today.
Okay.
So I was told you allowed 14-day grace period.
Yes.
For a late application.
Yeah. So when is the 14th day?
My 14th day was today.
You need to apply now. Have you applied?
No, I just went today to do the life in the UK test.
It doesn't matter. You need to apply today. Have you passed the life in the?
Yeah, I passed it today.
Okay.
And then.
And today is the 14th day.
Yeah, today is the 14th day.
You need to apply now. Today.
I understand that.
Sorry?
Yeah, I understand that.
There's enough time to do it. We've got until 12 o'clock today. It's absolutely crucial that you apply today. Okay, which visa are you on at the moment?
I'm on my last one, the indefinite to leave.
Are you on a spouse visa in the UK?
Yeah, spouse visa.
Okay, and you've completed 5 years?
Yep.
Right. If you put into Google SETM, SETM, okay?
1 minute, I need to grab a pen.
You need to do it today.
Yeah, I was, but one other solicitor gave me, he said, oh, I've got another 30 days.
No, you haven't. 14th day, it's absolutely crucial you do it today.
So I just go online and submit the application?
You submit the application yourself. There's nothing complicated about it. Just get the application in, and if something's wrong, it can be put right later on. You need to get the application in today.
So I need to get the application in within the next couple of hours?
It'll take you 1 hour to do.
It'll take 1 hour to do?
1 hour to do. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your laptop. It's not complicated.
Okay. What was the website you were telling me about?
Sorry?
You were telling me to go onto a website?
Yeah. So just go onto Google.
Yeah.
And put in SETM. M for mother.
SETM, yeah?
M. If you Google it now, see what comes up.
Okay.
And can you see there's a Home Office form that's coming up, SETM, SETM.
Yeah.
Click on that.
Okay. You want me to click on that?
Yeah, click on that. What's the page? What does the page say that you've got to?
Well, I'm not on the internet right now because, I'm on the phone right now.
Okay. I thought you'd have a computer or something there. Okay. You need to click on that, SETM, SETM. You need to do that form today.
Tonight?
Tonight. If it goes past midnight, you've got a problem. Whatever you do, get it in and pay the fee. The fee's about £2,400. You don't need to book your biometric appointment yet, but you need to get to the end and submit the application today. It is not difficult. If you're not sure about the answers, even then carry on. Put the best answers that you can put in.
Best answers possible, yeah.
But get something in today. And
what about all the supporting documents? Do I post that?
That's done later. Don't worry about supporting documents. Don't worry about biometrics, right? Just get the application in today. Pay the fee today. Okay. Now, in terms of why there's been a delay, now there has to be. It's not 14-day grace period. You have to provide a reason. For example, if somebody has COVID and they're unable to submit the application, if somebody's pregnant, unable to do the application, if somebody's unwell, unable to do the application, they are given 14 days extra, potentially. So that can all be sorted out. That's not a problem. You need to get the application in today. And, if you get the application in today, you've got plenty of time to sort the other stuff out. If you call in next week, I can talk you through what else you need to do. But honestly, you've got 3 hours. You need to get a move on. Because if you don't, potentially, you'll get the visa, but you'll have to do another 5 or 10 years to get indefinite leave.
Yeah, I understand because, earlier today I found a solicitor and then they said, yeah, don't worry, come in tomorrow with all your documents.
No, not tomorrow, today.
Today, I know.
You're definitely sure today's the 14th day?
Yeah, today, the visa ran out on the 13th.
So 13th, September. Right. So that's 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
27.
Today's the last day. You need to get a move on. Look, what are you thinking of doing? Are you thinking of applying today? What are you thinking of doing then?
Well, you've said to apply right now, so I'm going to do it right now.
Okay, look.
I'll fill in the form right now.
Yeah.
And then I'll post the supporting documents afterwards.
Yeah. Don't worry about the supporting documents. Don't worry about biometrics. Just get the payment done on SETM, SETM. Okay?
Yeah.
And then if you're not sure, ring me back next week and I'll take you through what you do. You've got plenty of time to sort your documents out.
Okay. Okay, then I'll do it.
Okay, get on with it. If you're not sure about the answers, do your best. Get right to the end. Okay.
And is the thing still the same? The earnings?
Yeah, earnings 18,600.
18K a year.
18,600.
Okay, I might have a little problem there though.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Leave your number with the control room, and what I'll do is I'll try and give you a ring because we're about to come to an end on our show. If you leave your number with the control room, I'll give you a ring off air. Okay.
Okay, then no problem.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Slightly problematic to leave it that late, but there we are. You have to get the application in today. Brings us to the end of the show. Inshallah, we'll be back next week. Assalamu alaikum.